Hi, this is Rafiq Suleiman and you are watching Cloud Simplified. Hi, in this video we are going to introduce how you can migrate your database to the cloud and specifically on AWS. So let's start. I am on-premise, I have my physical data center and I have my instance. So I am on-premise and this is where I deal with my physical servers. And inside this physical server, this is where I have my database virtual machine. So this virtual machine definitely has an operating system. So we have this person called my database administrator. This is the one responsible to build this virtual machine, and this is the one responsible to make sure this operating system is always patched to make sure that the database is not vulnerable. And this is the person who will deploy the database engine. So let's see what are the tasks, what are the responsibilities of the database administrator. First of all, I am inside the physical data center, so in a way or another, I still manage my physical servers, and then I need to patch my virtual machine operating system, and then of course I don't have only one database instance because it fails. I completely lost my transactions, so this person needs to handle the high availability, which means creating two instances of databases and making sure that there is synchronization between these two instances. And then what about storage scalability? In case I have lots of transactions coming into my database, I might run out of storage. So this person, in conjunction with the storage administrator, they need to handle the storage scalability. And finally, I always need to handle the backups. So I need to have a backup of my database. This is what do I have on-premise, and these are the tasks of this person on-premise. Now let's explore how I can migrate into the cloud and in AWS. So the first option of migrating my database from on-premise to the cloud, the first option is called self-managed. So in the self-managed you're going to see it's very similar to what I did in the on-premise. This is where I will need to provision my virtual server, and in this case it's called my EC2 instances. So my database administrator will provision this EC2 instance, will make sure I have this operating system, to always patch the operating system, and again to install the database engine. So what are the tasks needed from the database administrator? You're going to see it's more or less like what we discussed here, of course without the physical server. So again, this person needs to handle my OS patches, needs to handle my high availability, creating an active database and a standby, needs to handle my storage scalability as well. In case I'm running out of storage, how can we scale the storage in coordination with the storage administrator, and of course need to have backups. So that's the first option. Now let's introduce the third and very interesting last option, which is what we call the fully managed. Or in other terms, this is exactly the Amazon RDS. Alright, so at the end of the day, what do I need? At the end of the day, I need a database engine. So in the RDS, you go through a wizard where you go through simple clicks. One of these clicks, you choose which database engine you would like to have, along with some other parameters I'm going to explain. And at the end of the wizard, you are going to see AWS is going to automatically auto-provision this EC2 instance completely on your behalf. So you don't need to provision this instance. And since you don't provision the instance, so of course, you don't operate and you don't patch the operating system. AWS will be the one responsible to patch the operating system here. So let's see what are now the tasks of this database administrator. So RDS is going to do the operating system patching, and for the high availability, you can just choose a click of a button where this is going to be multi-AZ, which means now AWS is going to provision two instances, one active instance in an availability zone, another standby instance in a second availability zone, and it's going to configure between them synchronous replication, and they're going to have the same endpoint. So your application is pointing and writing on this endpoint. If the active database fails, automatically the standby database takes over with seamlessly or without any downtime. And what about storage? You can also choose an option of auto storage scalability, which means the more your database needs storage, the more AWS will provision this storage. You don't need to go and manually change anything in your database. And finally, you can also configure this to do automated backups. So as you can see here in the RDS or in the fully managed option, now as you can see, most of the tasks that this person, the database administrator, used to do either on-premise or even in the cloud when he was doing a self-managed, now these tasks are going to be completely eliminated. So now this person can focus more on innovation, can focus more on the database, can focus more on how he can work on his queries, enhance the queries, enhance the application performance. Alright, so to summarize, if I would like to migrate my database from the physical data center on-premise into the cloud, as we explained, we have two options. So I can migrate the first option as a self-managed, or I can migrate the second option as a fully managed. So now let me remind you about the migration strategies. And if you haven't seen this video, I highly recommend that you will go and rewatch the 7 migration strategies that we explained. So if I'm migrating from the on-premise to a self-managed, that's exactly what we called a rehost. Lift and shift my database to a self-managed EC2 instance on the cloud. But the second one, which was very interesting, migrating from on-premise to the cloud using a fully managed service, and that's what we call re-platform. And in the re-platform, if you remember, this is where we discussed now introducing a platform as a service or a fully managed service here, which is the RDS. I don't need to go through all the steps, and if you have been following one of the database engines, we have a document that says almost more than 88 steps to configure this one on-premise. Now on the cloud, very simple steps, a simple wizard, just you choose the options that you like, and then you finalize, and you're going to have this database in a multi-AZ strategy, fully synchronized with auto-storage scalability and automated backups. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope now it's clear how I can migrate my database from on-premise and the two options of migrating in the cloud. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, or please leave us the comments or other examples of videos that you would like to see. And if you don't want to miss any other video in the channel, please subscribe. And let me always finalize with a question. What is the name of the service from AWS that can help you do this kind of migration? Let me again repeat that question. what is the name of the service that can help you do this migration into AWS. Thank you so much for watching.